All right, let's get right into it. Look, a ton of people are using AI research tools these days, right? But there's a massive gap between just messing around with them and using a real professional-grade workflow that honestly unlocks their true power. Today, we're going to break down that exact workflow, specifically for NotebookLM. So let me just ask you this straight up. Are you using these tools better than 99% of the people out there? Because the difference between the average user and an expert is absolutely huge. And closing that gap, well, it can totally transform the quality of your work.
So here's the game plan. First, we're going to move way beyond the basic chatbot. Then, we'll get into building a really solid knowledge base and, super important, how to validate your sources. After that, we'll use that foundation to pull out some powerful, structured insights, and then, the fun part, turn those insights into incredible visuals. Finally, we'll tie it all together into one seamless workflow.
Okay, first things first. We have to get beyond thinking of this as just a basic chatbot. Honestly, this is the biggest hurdle for most people, and it's why they're missing out on what these tools can really do.
And this right here, this shows the core difference perfectly. The amateur approach, over on the left, it's totally reactive. You upload one file and ask a vague question. But the professional workflow on the right, that's strategic. It's all about building a carefully chosen knowledge base from lots of different sources so you can perform this deep, surgical analysis. It's a completely different mindset.
So here's the key takeaway. You've got to stop thinking of NotebookLM as a simple chatbot. Start seeing it for what it is, a complete research intelligence system. That one mental shift, it saves you from getting those generic, frustrating answers and helps you uncover some truly new connections in your research. It changes everything.
All right, let's move on to section 2, which is all about building your knowledge base. This is the foundation, right? If you get this part right, the quality of everything that comes after just skyrockets.
The process itself is pretty simple but incredibly powerful. First, you discover your sources. You can use tools like Perplexity or even the features built right into NotebookLM. Second, and this is a big one, you organize them into focused, topic-specific notebooks. Please avoid that one giant research folder we're all guilty of. And third, you mix up your formats to get the whole story.
And this is why mixing formats is so powerful. You're combining dense academic papers with easy-to-digest YouTube lectures, you're pulling in fresh industry reports and even real-world discussions from social media. This creates a 360-degree view of your topic that you could just never get from a single source.
Okay, now for the step that I swear 9 out of 10 people skip, but it is absolutely critical. Validating your sources. You've got to make sure your insights are built on solid ground, not sand. Here's a super practical way to do it. Just ask NotebookLM to create a simple table like this one. You want to see each source, its publication date, the author, and what type of source it is. Immediately, you can spot if your information is outdated or maybe if you're relying too much on opinion pieces instead of actual primary research. It's a 5-minute check that'll save you hours of bad work.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? The tool is only as good as the sources you give it. It's the classic garbage in, garbage out principle, but for the AI age. If your sources are weak, your answers are going to be weak. Period.
So once we have that solid, validated knowledge base, we can get to the fun stuff, generating structured insights. This is where we turn all that raw info into something you can actually use. And the secret weapon here is precise prompting. Just look at the difference. A vague prompt like, "What is this about?" You're going to get a messy, generic summary. But a precise prompt like, "Compare the 3 main approaches to this topic and highlight the key trade-offs," now you're getting a structured, high-value answer.
And remember, you have surgical control here. You can literally use checkboxes to ask a question of just 1 or 2 specific documents. You can set a custom goal, telling the AI to act like a skeptical research analyst to get a better critique. You can even use the mind map feature to spot connections you might have missed. You're not just asking questions, you are directing the analysis.
All right, now for what I think is the most exciting part, creating professional-grade visuals. This is where we take all that deep research and turn it into assets that you can use to actually communicate what you've found. So let's imagine a really common problem. You've got this massive 500-page textbook. It's packed with amazing information, but it is so dense, it's almost impossible to digest, let alone try to present to someone else.
And now, look at the result of our workflow. That entire textbook, all 500 pages of it, distilled down into a single, clean, professional infographic. It's clear, it's compelling, and it's ready for a presentation. I mean, that transformation is just incredible.
So, how do we make that magic happen? It's a simple 3-step workflow. First, you use NotebookLM's brain to extract all the key structured insights. Second, you copy that text and bring it over to Gemini, which is a powerhouse for visual creation. And third, you use a feature called Canvas Mode and give it a clear visual prompt to generate what you need.
And we're not just talking about infographics. With this workflow, you can create publication-ready visuals, entire data-driven slide decks, interactive skill maps, even live strategic dashboards. These are the kinds of high-value assets that used to take days, if not weeks, to build. Now you can do it in minutes.
Okay, let's bring it all home. Our final section is about the complete, integrated AI workflow. This is how the whole system works together from start to finish.
So here it is, the pro workflow in a nutshell. You source strategically, you validate everything rigorously, you analyze with surgical precision, and then you integrate with visual tools like Gemini to bring it all to life. You see how each step just builds on the last? It creates this powerful, repeatable system.
So what's the big payoff for doing all this? Well, the data we're seeing suggests a potential 90% boost in research output. Think about that. This isn't just a small improvement. It's a fundamental change in how you can work. It's a total game changer.
Which really just leaves us with one last, empowering question. Now that you have a framework, now that you have the tools to deconstruct and visualize literally any subject on Earth, what complex topic are you going to master next?